What's up, guys? This is Kyle from Wax Museum, and today I've got a video that I'm very excited to share with you. This is one that I've worked on quite a bit this week, but it's one that I've enjoyed working on because it is a look at one of my favorite products that Panini has ever put out, which is 2024-25 Silhouette, which it really is part of the Relic dump or the big Relic purge that I've been hinting at for a while now that I thought would happen, and I guess that time is finally here. And you can see some of the relics here on the screen that are representative of what you're going to see throughout this video today. I have a feeling this is going to be a long one. I don't know how long, but I have over 900 different relic cards that I want to show you. And I'm not going to go into extreme detail on all of those, but I think you'll enjoy the way that I put this together. Hopefully you will. But let's go ahead and just dive right in. Now, I should give Panini Silhouette some credit here because even though the main focus of this set is relics, there are some really cool inserts and autos, and they brought back some other cards like White Knight from some of the other sets. I think the Gallo rookies numbered to 8 are in this product, so I've really enjoyed this product overall, but the main focus of this product is without a doubt the relics. So I'm not going to talk about any of this stuff that you see on the screen anymore. I'm not going to talk about the rookie non-associated relics, so you're not going to see any of those in this video, even though you might see some of those in breaks. We're going to go ahead and jump right in with some of the smaller pieces. So this is a set called Duo Memorabilia, and I believe there are only 8 cards in this set, and I'm trying not to show you any plain swatches today, any just basic jersey swatches with the exception of some final stuff at the end. I haven't seen a prime version of the Anthony Edwards Kevin Garnett yet, but otherwise, these are some of the prime ones that I've seen so far. These are nice cards, but they're little tiny swatches, and quite honestly, they don't do a lot for me, but that's where some of the bigger names are going to be found. But if you want to get to the good stuff, it's going to be some of the other caliber players, and I'll show those here shortly. But let's move into some of the other dual relics that have smaller pieces in them. So you can see here, there's one called Dual Materials, and it's kind of like the Paul George that I showed you at the start. And when I looked at the checklist for Silhouette, I was trying to figure out, okay, do the 99s, are those all plain? And then maybe the 25s are a certain type of patch, and 5s are sponsors, and so on. Because that's kind of been the way it's been with Panini products so far. What I quickly discovered in looking all this is that numbering really in this product is arbitrary. Like that Julius Randle, the dual patch on the top left, is not numbered at all. Many of these are numbered to 99. The Aaron Gordon there is numbered to 5. The Chris Middleton with 2 different types of sponsor patches. You have the Harley one on the top and the Motorola one on the bottom. That's numbered to 99. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that all 99 pieces are sponsor patches. So like I said, really what I've noticed so far is that the numbering is really just arbitrary. And you do see some of these lower numbered ones for certain players are dual tags, like all of these that you'll see right here. Another thing that you'll notice, there are a lot of Timberwolves cards in this product. And I've noticed a lot of the same teams that they used a bunch of warm-ups for in other products, and that's what I've done a video on that already, several videos, I think. But like Timberwolves, Jazz, Trailblazers, Nuggets, a lot of those teams that had a lot of warm-ups during the late Adidas years and early Nike years, well, that's a lot of the stuff that's being liquidated now. So you're going to see a lot of Timberwolves stuff, and you're going to see a lot of Karl Anthony Towns, with the exception of the dual relic on the top right here, which is numbered to 10. The rest of these are numbered to 99. And even though I said earlier the numbering is arbitrary, I'm beginning to wonder if all 99 copies of Karl Anthony Towns dual memorabilia or dual materials card here, I'm beginning to wonder if they aren't tags, because it seems like they have so much Karl Anthony Towns stuff. And we'll come back to Cat later because he shows up quite a bit in this whole presentation here. But let's go ahead and move on. There are some trends that I've noticed, like for a lot of players in this set, if a card is numbered to 5, that's where they put some of the dual logo tags. I don't necessarily like to call those Logo Man patches. They're logo tags from laundry, but that's where you'll see some of those there. But let's go ahead and move into some of the bigger memorabilia pieces. Not the biggest ones, but some of the bigger ones. And these are The product is called Silhouette, and for those of you that have been around a while, this is basically Panini Preferred on steroids. And at one point, there was a card in Preferred or a set in Preferred called Silhouettes, and they kind of looked like this. And it's moved around from product to product, but it's back here in Panini Silhouettes. So you see some nice LeBron stuff in those first three cards. And I know there's been some suspicions out there on, are these really from the player that's shown on the card? Well, in some cases you can see the nameplate letters, and that's not to say, LeBron is the only Laker that has an S, but there are some clues in there that really hint at the fact that they are who, we're led to believe they are. So, but I'll let you draw your own conclusions on that. I'm not here to try to prove anything like that. I'm here to just continue showing you some cards. So, I've sorted some of these by team. Some teams don't have very many cards in certain subsets, and I'm sure a lot more stuff will come out. But like, look at that Mathurin, or the Mathurin in the bottom row. You've got one number to 10. You've got one number to 35. There's a couple there numbered to 25. And then we'll run into some lower ones as well. I saved some of the real low numbered stuff for a little bit later on because it does have some of the nicer pieces in it for some players. So I won't spend a lot of time, there's only so much I can say about a John Collins Hawks relic, but it is kind of cool to see them all together. So as I've been looking at listings and breaks this week, I've watched a lot of stuff. I've tried to clip those. That's why some of them, the quality is better than others, but I've tried to clip those and put them here in this presentation. So here we've got some cool stuff. Look at those Mark Williams patches. Those Hornets jerseys are really good for patches. There's DeRozan 101. Got some Knicks stuff and some Pelican stuff here. So there's where all the old Obi Toppin stuff ended up. He went to the Pacers before they could really liquidate all of that Knicks stuff. We've got some more Pelicans here and some other teams sprinkled in, like there's a Derek White. We've got some Jalen Williams cards in here. And we'll keep going. I'm not going to spend too long with these, like I said. I'll kind of show some. All right, now these, though, I did separate these from the others, except for the Bojan Bogdanovic in the top middle. I just needed to fill that spot, but these are all sponsor patches. Like I said, or we're getting into the sponsor patches, I should say, after that Bojan. In the past, sponsor patches have been numbered to 5 or lower typically, and they have moved away from that a little bit. They kept that for some players in here, and then other players, it's just a mixed bag. Like that Kelly Oubre is numbered to 25, and I doubt very many of them are sponsor pieces. They just kind of mixed it in with whatever Hornet stuff for him they had left. Now, some of you might remember a couple years ago in Flawless, we had a Bill Russell tribute patch set. We haven't seen those 6 patches in a lot of other stuff. I like the fact that they kept it exclusive to that special set. Well, guess what? The rest of them are coming out, although I do like that. I do like the opportunity to own some of these without having to pay, well, hopefully, without having to pay the Bill Russell premium price. And I am still trying to figure out, some of these are numbered to 5. Are all 5 of them Russell tribute patches? Well, as I'll explain later, I don't think so. I think they're just nice patches in general, but, only time will tell. So here's some Russell tribute patches. Here's some more here. And let's go ahead and keep going through this Silhouettes jumbo set. Some of them have Logo Man patches in them. Some of them have very large Logo Man pieces in them. Like, look at those 2 Miles Turners in the top right. Those are definitely from warm-ups. I would say likely Adidas era warm-ups. In fact, if you're interested in seeing a video where I take some of the more unique patches from here and showing you where I think they came from, let me know in the comments. Drop me a comment right now. That way I'll see that after you're done watching, and maybe I can make that video. So anyway, we've got Logo Man patches in here. We've got Nike swooshes. We've got more Nike swooshes. And then there's a 75th anniversary one up there with that Bogdanovic. And a couple more 75th Mike Conleys there. I thought those were the same card for a while, but I think the serial numbering is different on those. At least it looked like it when I tried to look at it closely. Then we move into those Jumpman patches, the Jordan Brand patches. I think that Benedict Mathurin that's numbered to 4 is the same print run as some of the other stuff that we've seen so far. Maybe that if we, I think we saw a Nike swoosh for him already. I think it's in the same print run. So I was hoping there were four of those Jumpman patches because I'd really like to have one. I don't think that's the case with him, but it really varies by player. There's no rhyme or reason with a lot of these. Like I said, the numbering's kind of arbitrary. Okay, so there are silhouette versions of these patches with sticker autographs. I'm not a big fan of that. I would just as soon have the patches by themselves, but I'm guessing they had a lot of stickers that they wanted to use up as well, so they decided to do so. It's interesting watching the breakers break this product because they'll say, "Oh, there was only one or two autographs or so many autographs," like they're disappointed, but that's not the focus of this product. This product is a relic dump first and foremost. So let's take a look here. Here's more of the autographed versions. Got a lot of Celtics here, or a lot of Marcus Smart and Porzingis, I should say. Some Gigi Jackson I snuck in there. We've got some Knicks players here. Brunson has a decent amount of patches in this product between this and the stat line that I'll show you later. So if you're a Knicks fan and you're still trying to get a Brunson piece, which I know they've been pricey, this might be a good opportunity. We'll see. Here's some Pacers stuff here. It's nice to see Nimhard get some more game-worn stuff. He hasn't had a lot prior to this. And then some mixed players here. And there's another Russell patch that got snuck in. This is the only one I've seen, though, that had an autograph with it in this product so far. All right, so then we've got some swooshes. We've got another Jumpman. And then we get into the Logo Man pieces. And I told you he'd be back. Here's Karl Anthony Towns. So let's take a look. And I think I've got the order a little jumbled up here, but the two white ones, or the two white jersey pieces, I think those are numbered to 10. The one in the middle that with that bigger logo man, it's definitely from a warm-up. I think it's a pair of pants. That one's numbered to 15, and then you've got the one at the end that's numbered to 1. I don't have conclusive proof of this, so this is just speculation. I wouldn't be surprised if there are at least 30 Logo Man patches of Karl Anthony Towns in this product, but we won't know from the checklist because they're not labeled as Logo Man patches. Like this will just be silhouette autographs, gold foil, or something like that, or gold hollow, something like that. It won't tell you that a lot of them are Logo Man pieces. So that's going to be a lot of fun, especially in the future when you have all these accounts that are saying, well, this player has so many Logo Man cards out there. They're not going to know. They have no clue of knowing that. Okay, moving on to the even bigger patches. These are very similar to Immaculate Windows. And one of these cards I own, right now it's the only silhouette card I own, is that Doug McDermott Y patch from a Hickory jersey. I'm expecting more of those to show up. So, I had to start off with my team, the Pacers, and then I didn't have a 10th Pacer to put on there just yet. So I finished it off with the Dwight Howard. A lot of Dwight Howard Wizard stuff and Sixers stuff in here. It's whatever they had left of Dwight Howard. There's a little bit of Magic stuff, but they've used a lot of that up. All right, going through. Speaking of Magic, here's some Magic guys on here on this bottom row. Some really nice looking jumbo patches. Once again, those Hornets patches are just awesome. We've got some, let's see, Spurs. We've got some more Kimba stuff. Kimba's got a patch here numbered to 49 with the Celtics. Sam Hauser, I don't think he's had hardly anything for the Celtics aside from non-associated stuff before this product. And then a ton of Dalen Terry. I'm seeing him in a lot of breaks. We've got even a Bobby Portis there in the top left. Some really nice DeAndre Ayton patches. The Thunder jumbos that I've seen so far are all trim. It's just those three Schroeders and Steven Adams and then a Şengün. So I'll go through these a little bit faster here. You don't need to hear me read off every player, but once again, a lot of Timberwolves stuff. Look at that Wiggins. I think that's like a shooting shirt or a warm-up or a jacket or something. I think it's a shooting shirt, actually. And like I said, if you're interested in it, I can show some of that stuff or where I believe a lot of that stuff came from. Some nice net stuff here, including some really nice Harden jumbos, some miscellaneous stuff. Ben Simmons. There's a lot of Ben Simmons in this product. I've seen 6 of them so far. These are numbered to 29 and 49. I'm sorry, 25 and 49. And I'm assuming there's probably another parallel as well, maybe one numbered to 10. So just be ready for that. As far as the best patches, in this product. My friend Ryan and I, Mind Cycle Cards, we were talking about this product so far. We think that the Hawks have the best looking patches in this product, and I really like seeing them all together here. I think I would agree with that. But still, some other good looking stuff like these Trailblazers patches look pretty nice, and some good looking Knicks stuff. Obviously, more Timberwolves stuff. And then moving on to the letter patches. Now, it's not like the nameplate nobility cards where it's numbered to the player's last name. Like I recently, in the last year, I bought a Halliburton that was numbered to 10. That is not the case here. They just mixed it in with the other print run for most of the players, except for it looks like McCollum there might be split up. But like Nick Claxton, that letter N is numbered to 25. So obviously that's not numbered to his last name. And here's some more examples here. A Sadiq Bey, he has a three-letter last name, and the card's numbered to 10. So who knows what all's in there? Or that Isaiah Stewart. I've already seen two of the letter S, and that's numbered to 35. So that will be fun, though. I love letter cards, so I have no objections to that, and I will be trying to pick some of those up. Okay, on to the Nike swooshes, which look way better in these immaculate style windows than they do the silhouette style windows. I have yet to pick one of these up. I'm trying, but I'm also trying not to pay a ridiculous price because there are so many of them out there. Take a look at that DeAndre Jordan. That's the Basquiat, city, I think, style jerseys that the Nets wore for 2 seasons. That's pretty cool. Something different that you don't see very often. We've got another 75th anniversary swoosh in here. Let's see here. Like here's a Zubac that's numbered to 4. I think that was the first off the line version because I've already seen 3 of them. I have 3 of them in there for you. Same thing with Kevin Herter. I've seen 2 of the 4 already. And we wouldn't have these brand logos without throwing in some Adidas as well. And the Gary Harris, my friend Ryan, Mind Cycle, I mentioned him. He already owns that one. I saw that one show up with a very reasonable bin. In fact, I even made an offer on it. And I told Ryan, I said, you should probably just hit this bin because it's pretty low. And Gary Harris is one of the guys that he collects. So he was able to grab that. And I'm a little bit jealous because I want to get a nice logo like that for my Pacers collection as well. Okay, moving past those, we've got the Jumpman patches here. Those look way better in these jumbo windows than I think they do in the silhouette ones. Got a couple more Russell tribute patches. They keep popping up. And then we've got logo men that are in these giant windows, which that's not typical. But I'll start off. I've kind of ordered them. I have the old stitched ones first, which most of the stitched ones are Adidas era. There's a few Nike era uniforms that have those, but not many. And then we move into the plastic logo man era, which, kind of loses part of its uniqueness. And then we get some real interesting logo men here. So, for example, this Dalen Terry, I think that's a Christmas logo man. And even though there's a Christmas logo man set in this product, they didn't put that one in there. So that one seems kind of strange to me. But anyway, we've got some 75th anniversary ones. We've got this Michael Porter Jr. That's from a preseason international game in Abu Dhabi. Like I said, I can show pictures of this stuff in another video. If that's something you're interested in, just leave a comment and let me know. We've got some really large logo man pieces. You'll see several on this page here. The McCollum and the Monta Ellis. Those are not the biggest logo man pieces that I've ever seen, but they're pretty close to it. And I believe those are from warm-ups, and I think I know exactly which Adidas era ones they're from. Then we've got some Wiggins ones. Those look pretty cool. Those fill most of the window. And a couple really large Wiggins ones. Followed by this McCollum here at the end. That is a shooting shirt. I believe it was Hoops for Troops. And that's only the second time I've ever seen that logo used in a card. The other time was a colossal logo man of Evan Fournier. All right. Moving on to another patch set that I really like. The windows aren't quite as large, but they're still decent sized. This one is called NBA Threads, and I've already seen 8 Danny Grangers. Nothing that is really unique that I feel like, I have pieces like this already, but I am keeping a watchful eye just to see what all's out there because we really don't know. You won't know until it shows up because, like I said earlier, the checklist does not always indicate what each parallel is going to look like. All right, so we'll go through some of the teams once again, and then I have some one-offs mixed in here. So we had Pacers, we have a Bulls card, those great Hawks patches, those are back here. This one's really a mixed group. We do have Dale Ellis, which is the only real older guy that's on this list. The rest of them were players that played during the Panini era. Pretty much everything in this product are guys that played during the Panini era, except for Dale Ellis. I don't know why he was included, but he's in there. So if you're a Sonics fan, you might enjoy that. All right, if you're a Jazz fan, you got a lot of stuff in this product. A lot of stuff in the Adidas era, and then also some Nike stuff as well, like this Bryce Sensabaugh. Obviously, he was not Adidas era, but man, you've got Dante Exum. You've got a lot of Alec Burks, and Alec Burks also has Knicks cards. You'll see those in a moment. There's a lot of Alec Burks in this product, which, like I said at the start of this, you're not going to see a lot of patches of the big names or the high-end guys. But if you like your Alec Burks and your Rudy Goberts and your Joe Ingles, and I do, this is the product for you. So here's some more Joe Ingles. I like that top right one. That's from there was a warm-up jacket in like 2016 that had that established in, and then it put the year that the team was established. That's kind of what that patch is there. We've got some Joe Johnson stuff. That's a name that you probably haven't heard in a while. More Joe Johnson stuff. And then moving on into the Magic, Jonathan Isaac. I like that Disney sponsor patch. I'd like to get one of those at one point. We've got some KCP, a lot of Big Baby, including a couple of those Magic. I think that was the 25th anniversary patch. It's either 20th or 20. I'm pretty sure it's 25th. It says silver. It's 25th. We've got Anthony Black, more Anthony Black, Cole Anthony, another Disney patch there. A lot of Magic stuff in this product. A lot of Knicks stuff. I mentioned Alec Burks. There he is. Tyson Chandler. We've got some Al Harrington, Evan Fournier. That's the second time he's been mentioned in here. And then moving on to the Sixers. I don't know how many Sixers jerseys they had for Dwight. It might have been just one, but I don't think it ever got used in any products. So we've got a lot of Dwight cards in here, and then a lot of PJ Tucker as well. Which if that's game worn, then probably only so many games it could have been. I can't imagine PJ Tucker was getting a lot of minutes in that jersey. All right, and then we'll round out the Sixers with Al Horford. Okay, moving on, we've got a one-off for the Rockets there, and then a Derrick Rose. That is the only Derrick Rose patch card I've seen in this product so far, and I have watched a lot of stuff. I mean, like I said, I've got nearly 1,000 cards in this presentation. That's the first Derrick Rose Cavs patch that I've seen in this product. I have seen a Timberwolves booklet as well. Marcus Smart, a lot of Marcus Smart in this product. We've got some Jaren Jackson Jr., some campaign, a decent amount of campaign in here. Some John Wall, some Lou Williams. Those look pretty nice together. And then we've got some Nets. Nets are another team that have a bunch of different types of jerseys and a bunch of relic cards. A lot of Karis LeVert, a lot of DeAndre Jordan, and then Nuggets. That's another one of those teams as well. You're going to see Paul Millsap here in a second. There's a lot of Paul Millsap in this product. All right, we've got Kings. We've got really just Devin Harris. I would say Mavericks, but it's just Devin Harris. And then back to Timberwolves. Got more of those Timberwolves patches. There's some warm-up stuff with Wiggins. There's the Flip Saunders tribute patch. We haven't seen too many of those. That was a dedicated set at one point as well. The established patch in the bottom left for Karl Anthony Towns, that is from a jacket, and I can show you that if I do that other video. All right, more Jazz stuff, some Sun stuff. My friend's favorite player, Jay Crowder, and some Nurkic cards. We've got some Trailblazers, including Greg Oden. Greg Oden patches in a product. Good to see that again. And then Yee in the top left. Yee is my guy. I've talked about him a lot on this channel, and he made an appearance back in another Panini product. Another relic card. I haven't seen too many of those, but it was fun seeing Yee in yet another product. Okay, we'll round it out with the Raptors here, and then and the Hornets, and then we'll move into the slogans cards, which I really like these. I still have never seen a Pacer slogan in a card. Not all the jerseys had them, but a few did. So I'm hoping someday we get that. I don't think it'll be in this product though. But anyway, we got the Fear the Deer patches. We've got Sacramento Proud, the Clippers, all the flags, and you'll see some other ones here. I love the Lakers one though. Anthony Davis leave, right? That one's going to be on some memes if it isn't already. We've got the We the North ones, Detroit basketball, and then those say Brooklyn Nets on the bottom left. It's kind of hard because they blend in with the material there, but that's kind of part of those slogans as well. All right, we've got more swooshes. You see a couple of those there. More swooshes up here. I want to point out the Paul Millsap Nike swoosh here that is numbered to 25. I don't think all 25 of those are going to be swooshes, but I thought that was pretty funny. It just goes to show, once again, numbering is arbitrary in this set. We've got the Dale Ellis Logo Man numbered to 2. We've got some stitched Logo Man here. That Fournier, it's a little bit bigger. That's from a warm-up. We've got a few of those in here. There's a Dante Exum. A couple Dante Exums are in there that are bigger. That Joe Ingles is bigger. The Malik Beasley, both of those are a little bit bigger as well. And still some stitch stuff. And then we move into the plastic stuff. A lot of Andrew Wiggins in this product. A lot of Rudy Gobert. A couple 75th ones there. There's I like that Andre Drummond logo as well. Another warm-up piece. All right. So then we've got another smaller relic set called NBA Relics, and it is a mixed bag of stuff. So you've got just some basic smaller patches here. These don't do much for me. It kind of resembles stuff that we've seen in other sets, at least in terms of the patch size. So I'll run through those pretty quick, just the basic ones. But then we've got some sponsor ones. I do like those. Then we move into there's some laundry tags in there. But then we've got the championship tags. And that bottom row that I'm showing you there, those are all the Adidas era jerseys. So those look different than the Nike ones, and you'll be able to see it here in just a moment because I'm going to show you the Nike ones. I actually put them in order. You'll see here's all the teams that have one title, and then it kind of goes up from there. So one title, then you've got your Knicks there that have 2. There's a Bucks tag that has 2. So there was also a Bucks tag that had 1. So that kind of helps you date when that jersey is from. Moving on to 3, 4, 5, right? So all those Spurs ones have the 5 tag, 6, 7, and then all you Celtics fans, you get a 17 tag for 17 titles. Okay, another smaller relic set called NBA Gear, and we've got Scary James Harden there on the side, but I did want to show you the Halliburton, even though that's a napkin, just to show you that, once again, the numbering is arbitrary. So that Halliburton is numbered to 99. I haven't seen a Halliburton patch yet. The LeBron James right next to it is not numbered. And then the sponsor LeBron James patch next to that is numbered to 99. So all of this, once again, is arbitrary. So those are a lot of sponsor or just generic patches there. We'll move on. We've got some laundry tags, except the Aaron Gordon in the top right. That's a sponsor patch as well. And some more miscellaneous tags here, tags and patches. I do like the Draymond Green. That's a Nate Thurman tribute. So I thought that was pretty cool. I'd like to have one of those. And then we've got the every player, every game tags. Those got chopped up into a bunch of pieces. There are a ton of those. This is just a small sampling of what's out there, but I've talked about those codes on this channel before. I'm not going to go into detail right now, but that stuff is out there. All right, moving on to booklets. So once again, I mentioned earlier that this product is kind of like Preferred on steroids. Well, Preferred had quite a bit of booklets. Had booklets and game dated stuff, and that's really what I have left to show you here. So let's start with the booklets. These booklets here are not game dated, but they're still very nice. The top row, we've got like a LeBron and a Kawhi, just a really nice game worn patch. Right now, the rookies in that booklet, from what I've seen, are non-associated. So be careful with those if you're trying to differentiate. Always read the back, right? Always take a look at the back if possible. We have this All-Star booklet. It's the only one in the set, so you're not going to see any other ones than that. And then we have these booklets here on the bottom, the one-on-one. And so far, all of them that I've seen, or most of them that I've seen, one swatch is kind of plain or one color, and then the other one has quite a bit on it. I like that Paul George piece. I picked up a Thad Young like that recently. That's from a shooting shirt. All right. There are better booklets, though, in my opinion. I love these stat line booklets. I loved them when they were in preferred years ago. I love them when they've moved around, but these are great. And I haven't seen one in hand yet, so I don't know if the surface is acetate or not. But man, these look so good, and I like the way they put the headshot in there. Like even that Buzelis, he was wearing a face mask in that game against the Pacers. So in both photos, you can see him wearing the face mask. I thought that was pretty cool. You might also notice that at least all the ones that I pulled here are from early in the season, October, November, December. That's pretty standard with Panini. They'll grab a lot of jerseys at the start of the season. That way they can get them into the products, especially for the rookies by the end of the year. And I should note that that Buzelis is a rookie and it's game worn. So there's a small amount of game worn rookie stuff in here, not a lot. That might be the only one. I don't recall seeing anything else, but at least we know that that one is in here. Okay, more game dated stuff. Christmas stuff. So some of this is left over from the Christmas jerseys they used in like 2009 and 2010, and some of them are newer jerseys. So like that Chauncey Billups, you'll see a lot of Nugget stuff because they had a batch of Christmas jerseys for them. The holiday logo, man, though, those are more recent, and you can see the back. I put the back of the Cam Reddish on here for you. I love the wording on this. For the most part, I wish they'd be a little more specific, but it says the enclosed material was worn used during Reddish's game on 12/25/2023 and is guaranteed by Panini. So I do like that. I wish they would have said that it was worn by Cam Reddish as well, but it is what it is. And then the bottom row, these are the Christmas or the holiday laundry tags, which that Kenyon Martin does not look like a laundry tag to me. That looks like the piece from the neck. And coincidentally, it doesn't match the picture. So I'm not sure if they got the picture right. It should look more like the neck, I believe, on that Carmelo card. That is a minor gripe, though. I do really like this set. Some other miscellaneous stuff that I haven't seen a lot of. On the left here, we have these All-Star logo tags, and I like the wording on that one. The enclosed game-worn used material, which was worn used before the 2011 All-Star game. So they're telling us here that it's from a warm-up, even though they didn't say here that it's from a warm-up. That's what that is. We saw those 2011 warm-ups used in tons of cards back in the day. That's like the gold with or the black pieces with the gold and the silver circles on it. So it looks like they're finally using those logo tags. They've been saving a lot of those. Then we have a Monta Ellis. I don't know what's on the back of that card. I'd love to see it. I'd love to own that card. If you find that card, I do know the breaker who pulled it, but I can't find out any more information. Please help me find that card. I'd really love to add that to the PC. So I don't know much about that. And then on the bottom right, we have these NBA Finals, every player, every game tags. The Dwayne Wade is from the mock-up, the sell sheet, so I don't even think that's the real tag that's going to be in that one. We don't know yet. But the Kevin Love, that's the only one that I've seen pulled. And, I collect final stuff. I would love to have something like that. But, man, that stuff has really climbed in value. Now, speaking of final stuff, we're about to get a lot more of it. So hopefully it will go down a little bit in price just because there's going to be so much of it out there. But we've got this finals. These are not numbered, the ones that I'm going to show you here first. And I pulled the Leandro Barbosa, and I've got the back of it for you here. It says the enclosed game-worn used material, which was worn used by Barbosa during Game 2 of the NBA Finals on June 5th, 2016, is guaranteed by Panini. Now, that is a great guarantee. I love that. That's on the backs of all these cards. Yes, it's pretty much the leftover stuff from all the old preferred sets and opulent sets and all that final stuff that we've had before. We've seen some of this come back in Noir and other products, but I love that they're using it and not in a final set and not just putting it in regular cards. So kudos to them for that. So, of course, there are Prime versions that I didn't screen cap every version that I saw because there were a lot of them out there. So there's Prime versions, there's tags, right? You see the LeBron tag in the bottom right. And some of you that are really astute, you might notice these two cards in the middle, the Kyrie Irving relic pieces, prime pieces from the 2024 NBA Finals. Now, we have not seen those pieces before. So I really didn't think that Panini would acquire any more final stuff. I figured they were done. They did grab some stuff from the 2024 finals, not from the Celtics, though, just from the Mavericks. And I'll have more on that shortly. So let's look at one other additional finals set that they've created here. A very small set, but they've got dual cards. And I really like these. Like we've got a LeBron and Harrison Barnes, which was kind of a strange pairing, but you know what? Whatever. They had a picture of them together. They've got patch pieces of them. I'll take it. And then we've got a LeBron and Kawhi. And look at the wording on the. I pulled the wording for the LeBron James and Harrison Barnes. It says the enclosed game worn used material, which was worn used by James and Barnes during Game 2 of the NBA Finals on 6/5/16, is guaranteed by Panini. Once again, I love it. I'm very happy with that. I haven't talked about it a lot yet, but notice how intentional Panini was with a lot of the stuff in this product. Even going back to the Relic cards, they had Relic cards for Rudy Gobert in a Jazz uniform and a Timberwolves uniform. Instead of lumping them all in the same card where stuff might be mismatched, they put them in two separate cards for each team. I love that. And that's more than Upper Deck did in 2009 when they did their Great Purge. So you see the Luka and the Kyrie duel. I will come back to that once again. I promise. I know I keep teasing these Mavericks cards because I do have something I want to show you here at the end. We're getting close to the end. All right, so then they've got some jumbo swatches. Once again, I'm a big fan of that. I don't think these are numbered. So who knows how many of them are actually out there. I would like to add some of those over time if the price stays reasonable. And included in those, and it's not just Kyrie and Luka like I showed you earlier. There's some other Mavericks in there as well. So like here is a Daniel Gafford, and they tell you that these are warm-ups. The enclosed game worn used warm-up, which was worn used by Gafford during Game 1 of the NBA Finals on 6/6/2024, is guaranteed by Panini. Once again, I love it. All of the Mavs pieces I've seen are warm-ups, though. So if you're, even though they're pictured in the jersey on the card, they're all warm-ups. And I can give you a little more specific picture of what those are. So there were a couple of versions of these shooting shirts. You had the long sleeve version like you see on the bottom left. And then you can see Luka in the bottom middle with the sleeveless version on. And these are the Luka is the sleeveless version. And that is the only picture I can find of him wearing that. Even when he was on the court, I think he had a jacket over that in most instances. So that is the only picture I've seen of him wearing that so far. You can see the top left has the prime version, which is that like that heartbeat with Texas on the back. And that one's numbered 4/4. Not a lot of that out there. And then they've got the kind of like a slogan version, numbered 2/2. And I show you the part of the shirt that's from for all of Dallas-Fort Worth. So if you like me showing you where this stuff came from, once again, make sure to leave a comment. Make sure to tell me that. Otherwise, that is all I have for you right now. This is not buying advice. This is not everything that's in that product. This is just some of the stuff that I've been collecting a couple hours a night for the entire week. So I hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Maybe I'll do some more stuff like this moving forward. And as always, thanks for watching.